about 8 months ago, I went and I donated blood. I donate as often as I can. Went and donated blood to the City of Hope, and they called me back and they said that I should probably go see a doctor because my white cell count was a little high, which usually just means some kind of infection. I went to the doctor and they took innumerable blood tests, and every week I was going in and having blood tests done and being poked and prodded, and they couldn't figure out what was going on, but they weren't excited about it. So they knew that something was wrong, they just didn't know what. They started testing me for ovarian and thyroid cancer, and they still couldn't figure out what was wrong. Nothing really turned up on the test, so I decided that I was going to take control of my own body and start doing a little bit more holistically, living a little bit more holistically. I decided to start eating more whole foods and stuff like that, and then my dad came home and told me that he saw this demonstration at church called aquaponics, and that sounds really funny. He told me that's the combination of aquaculture, which is growing fish for food, and hydroponics, which is the process of growing plants in rocks. And it's a completely self-sustained system. So I decided our family as a whole decided that we were going to start living more holistically and more green, and decided to start growing our own food in an aquaponics system. In this demonstration today, I will show you how to set up your aquaponics system, how to maintain it, and how to grow food in your own aquaponics system. There are 3 basic things that you'll need. You'll need a fish tank. This is a small scale system. You'll need a fish tank, you'll need a pump, and you'll need a grow bed with grow medium in them. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find a container, typically aquarium if you want it in your home. This is a smaller scale. You'll want a fish tank that holds plenty of water. I already put my fish in here, but typically you don't. They're okay. Okay. So you'll want your water, and you'll want it about 2/3 of the way up. And then you'll want to put your grow bed on top. Now your grow bed needs to be a little bit smaller, and typically they're 4 feet by 4 feet. You can fit them even on an apartment patio. 4 feet by 4 feet. And you'll want your gravel. Gravel, rocks, and clay are the three mediums that you typically use. So you'll add your gravel in. Now, gravel or rocks can be purchased either at home goods stores like Home Depot or even Walmart, or you can get them at rock yards, gravel yards, and it's sold by the cubic foot. So, once you have all of your rocks in, you want to spread them out, and you want it almost to the top of your container, whatever your container is. So it looks like this. Next, you'll take your pump, and this is just a fountain pump. It's a submersible fountain pump. I found this at Harbor Freight for about $4. And you take some tubing that you can find it's still at Harbor Freight, and this has a little garden tube, sprinkler tube. You stick it in there like that, and then you're going to want to submerge it in your tank. Like that. And it has little suction cups at the bottom so you can stick it in there. I'll lift it up so you can see it. Sticks down in there. Now typically, I already added my fish because they needed time to adapt to the water. But typically, what you do is you put your rocks in and your water, and you let them get acclimated to each other first, and you let it run for several weeks to get adjusted. And then I poked a hole inside of this, and I'm feeding the tube through so that it'll pump into the rock bed. So typically you let it fill and you let it run for a couple days because rocks are dirty, so you let it run to get the rocks and the water acclimated to each other. And then what you can do is you plant your seeds. Now you can get them at a greenhouse kit. You can get this little greenhouse kit at Walmart or Home Depot. It comes with a little plastic thing around it, but you start your seeds in here. You don't want to start your seeds in your rock bed because it runs a greater risk of washing away. So you just plant your seeds in here, and we have them labeled, so we have a little chart. And then when they get to be about this size, this is a jalapeno plant, when they get to be about this size, We transplant them into a container about this size. Now we drink a lot of tea in our family, so this is a tin from Starbucks. But we fill it with soil and we plant it, we transplant it in here until it gets a little bit bigger. Yes?
5 minutes.
So then when it's about this big, you dig a hole in there and you plant it in there so it's buried. And then you let it run for another few days. You let it run for another few days to get the water and the plants adjusted to each other, because plants have different kind of chemicals and rocks have different chemicals than water does. So you let it get adjusted before you put your fish in. Then you add your fish. Now, depending on what kind of fish you want, it just depends on what fish, what kind of water you have, and what kind of plants you're growing. We're growing catfish at home. These are goldfish for the demonstration. And then you plug it in. And as you can see, it fills up. And as the rock bed fills up, as your grow bed fills up, there's a drain in the middle. And when it gets to a certain level, it'll drain back into your system. Now, the next really important part is how to test your water. Because as fish get stressed out, water naturally has chemicals in it. Water naturally has ammonia and a pH level to everything. And natural tap water and natural garden hose water have a lot of ammonia in it. And as fish get stressed out, they produce more ammonia. And ammonia, what it'll do is basically suffocate your fish. So you can go to a garden center, or you can go to Home Depot and get a water pH testing kit, or they have them at pool supply stores. So to test the pH, you get some of your water, and you fill it up to the 5 milliliter line. Right there. Then you grab the thing that says high range pH, and you add 5 drops. You shake it up, and it should show you pretty immediately what your pH is. Now, normal pH is 7, and that's neutral. So this is just above neutral. That's good. You're good to go. Now, to test your ammonia, you do the same thing. So you do the same thing, and you fill it up, and you add 8 drops of each. Now, normal ammonia should be between 0 and 0.25. If it's too high, it's going to hurt your fish. What you do to change that is you switch out your water. So, and once it's all balanced out, I would check your water every day in the first beginning steps. But once it's all settled, then you're all set to go, and it'll completely maintain itself. Now that I've showed you how to set up your system, how to plant your plants, and how to take care of your fish, you're all set to grow your own food in your own aquaponics system. Now, nothing really came of the medical test that I had, but I do feel a lot better because I've been growing my own food in my own garden, and I know exactly where my food is coming from. Thank you.